Hey, Jen Beeston. So I need to stop doing this. It's weird, right? Okay. So this video is really for realtors, but as a buyer, it may help you too. So I end up in a situation a lot where a realtor calls me and they're like, we've been in contract for 90 days. And I'm like, oh my God, why? Like how? Ew, that's a long time. I'm like, when are you supposed to close? We were supposed to close in 30 days. What? Like, So I actually put together a sheet of what the actual timelines are. So today I'm just gonna cover like a couple red flags that you as a realtor should be watching out for so that you can keep the lender in check. Sometimes, sadly, you have to babysit a lender. Like that's what happens if you don't help your clients work with a good lender. If you're just gonna take whatever lender the client brings to you, without checking them, you may end up babysitting. And that's fine. Sometimes, you can have a great lender that you've never met before and you can have a terrible one. But here's a couple things to look for. And then I'll do a link to an article I did about warning signs, okay? Disclosures. Disclosures should go out within 3 days of you giving the contract to the lender. Period. So my team, when we get the contract, we order the appraisal same day. We're asking title for fees, and then once we have the title fees, we disclose. The only time my team and myself are gonna disclose on day 3 is if title didn't give us the fees, and we are pounding them. Any title person who knows me will say, oh, they're the worst. We're annoying. We want the fees. I want to get the documents to the borrower. I need to move the transaction forward. I can't sit there for 3 days. I'm not going to guess what their fees are, because if I guess them wrong, it comes out of my personal pocket. So yeah, okay? So disclosures to the borrower need to go out within 3 days of you giving the contract to the lender. Make sure you give the contract to the lender. Like you may want to double check that, because I have had it where they're like, oh, I thought the borrower was going to send it to you. And they're like, well, I thought the agent, and give the contract to the lender, okay? They should be ordering the appraisal, I would say on day 1, 100%. Some lenders do not, because you cannot charge the borrower their credit card until they sign disclosures. Personally, I order it on day 1 because I feel like I need to get that order in. And if I need to charge the borrower's credit card later, so be it. I'm generally working with people who aren't going to stick me with a bill for an appraisal, but there are certain situations where you may want the client's credit card. Someone who, as a lender, I would be pushing pretty hard for would be if they were shopping me aggressively, because I don't know what they're going to do from one day to another. So disclosures and appraisal should be ordered, let's say within the first 3 days, okay? Really, day 1 on both. Now, the next thing is, when should the file go to underwriting? Now, realistically, with my files, I'm going to be moving them to underwriting within the first 5 days. It may have the appraisal, it may not. I may just be sending it to underwriting for everything but the appraisal. But within the first 5 days, it should be going to underwriting. Now, something that can delay that is the borrower. So if the borrower's not giving the lender documents, that can be a problem. So as a realtor, if you're talking to a lender and the file's not in underwriting yet, you want to say, what do you need from the borrower? Are you waiting on stuff from the borrower? And if they say, yes, I've been trying to get these items, then as a realtor, I would probably step in and say, hey, they're waiting on these items, can you please get them to it? Because sometimes as a lender, we're saying, hey, we need this, but they think we're kidding. Thankfully this doesn't happen to me a lot, but as a realtor, you have a lot of power. So you can say to the borrower, hey, look, your lender's just sitting there doing nothing because they can't without your documents. We need you to get these to them because you have a loan contingency, an appraisal contingency, and the lender's probably already saying and doing all of that, but they may not be. So to underwriting within the first 5 days, for a team that's not as tightly pulled together, worst case 10 days. Like seriously, if the file's not going to underwriting until day 14, oh my goodness, what is going on? Either the lender's asleep on the job, their processor's asleep on the job, the borrower's not giving docs and no one's stalking him, or you have a borrower that's not cooperating. And if you're the realtor and you've got a borrower that's not cooperating, you need to be involved, because you're going to be the one that has to ask for time extensions and everything else, and no one wants to do that. Okay, now if you're on day 14 and the appraisal hasn't been ordered either, 14, no appraisal, and it's not an underwriting, I would be urging your client to switch to a lender that you know that can close quick, because there's absolutely no excuse to not have either of those milestones hit by day 14 if this is, in contract. Now, if there was some reason, you as the realtor should know. It should never be a surprise. Okay? Now, loan docs to title. That can go two different ways. So personally, I try to get my loan docs to title about 5 days in advance. I do that because I want my clients to have the luxury of signing when it fits their schedule. Now, you can only do that in certain states. In some states, you have to sign the same day you have docs. In California, you don't. If you're supposed to close in 30 days and on day 29, they don't have loan docs, you're not closing in 30 days. You need to know, hey, by day 14, it should be back from underwriting. There's no reason it shouldn't. When is this going to docs? What items do you need? If it is a new lender, I strongly urge you to babysit them. So I don't want to ramble too much. This is going to be easier in writing. So if you click on the link that's going to be in the comments to this video, it will take you to an article I wrote about, red flags as a realtor. And I can tell you right now, up front, the biggest red flags are going to be in that first 3 days. Did the disclosures go out? Was the appraisal ordered? If you're 7 days in and your borrower hasn't seen any docs, switch them. Switch them. Ask them to talk to a lender that you trust to get the job done, because the lender they're working with is not taking care of them. They're not prioritizing them. And a lot of clients might react and be like, but I like them. Why would you like someone that's not taking good care of you? I don't like mean babysitters. When I was little, did you? The one that would make you put your hand in the garbage disposal and get stuff out? I hated that. Does that happen to you? It might be scarred. Anyways, link, check it out. I hope it helps. Thanks.